Hi guys, political commentator Marina Purkiss raised an interesting point when she appeared on the Jeremy Vine show on the issue of MPs, ministers and the PM receiving gifts from donors as part of the job. Marina believes that prime ministers are perhaps not paid enough. For example, the Irish Prime Minister Taoiseach is paid over €240,000 a year, or about £200,000, significantly more than Keir Starmer for a much smaller country. A High Court judge in the UK is paid about £200,000. One of the reasons justices are paid a high salary is that it reduces the risk of corruption. So is Marina right here? Should at least the Prime Minister be paid more to avoid these types of problems?
Yeah, I've always found that a weird one. The actual Prime Minister's salary, whoever you are, is incredibly low, isn't it? Clearly, it's topped up by gifts and everything else, which we didn't know about. It's a very, very strange situation. I think ultimately it doesn't care who they are. We just want them to do a decent job. Unfortunately, not many of them do. Not many of them can justify their salary, can they?
I disagree. I actually disagree. Right, maybe this is going to be contentious, but I don't think our politicians are paid enough. I actually don't. I think a Prime Minister, actually given the responsibility, should be on more, right. But scrap all this gifting and donations and all this nonsense.
He's got 2 houses. He's got free food. He never has to drive a car or show a passport for the rest of his life. So, he's got security for the rest of his life.
Do you want me to play that back to you? Or indeed anyone. I'm just saying.
Listen to what he's got. I mean, this is the.
So what? So you're telling me
it's worth £1 million.
Jeremy, you're telling me someone's salary should be dependent on their assets and their wealth.
Sorry, you totally misunderstood. He's got 10 Downing Street and Chequers.
Yes.
He's driven around for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He never has to show a passport again. He's got free food. He's got personal protection. He's got, by the way, if he loses his job after 49 days like Liz Truss, he gets a salary of 160 grand a year for the rest of his life, as she does. My God, that's a massive package. How much more do you want?
I genuinely think you don't believe that. I think the Prime Minister of a country and indeed the cabinet, I actually, just again, if they're not being subsidised, and I don't believe in all these subsidies, why are they getting subsidised booze and food in the Houses of Parliament? I don't think it should. No, I don't think you should. No, absolute nonsense. You can entertain and you can expense it like most people do with their business accounts, as long as it's heavily scrutinised. But I actually don't think we pay them enough.
All right, just on Sue Gray, there's a...
Well said. I agree 100%. If you pay them more and take away these privileges, then it makes more sense. Because if an MP or the Prime Minister even is relying on donations from somebody or freebies or something, of course that person giving those donations or freebies is going to expect something in return. Not always, but most of the time. And that's a massive problem, because if the Prime Minister or an MP or a minister doesn't feel they're earning enough, they're not receiving enough of a salary, and believe it's justified to be topped up by donations or something like that, you have a massive problem. Because who will they be listening to? They'll be listening to the people who donate to them. They'll be listening to the people who give them freebies. And of course, when it comes to businesses giving something to ministers or the Prime Minister, of course they want something in return. They're not doing it for show. They're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. They see it as an investment. They don't call it corruption, but that's what it basically is. As I said, High Court judges in general, are paid more than the average person on the street. Part of that is down to experience, responsibility, but of course, one aspect of it is about reducing the risk of corruption. Now, we can't eliminate the risk, can't eliminate it completely. The same with politicians. Boris Johnson earned a huge amount of money as the Prime Minister, but he was still corrupt. But you can at least take away some of the justification for the corruption that the MPs, the Tories in particular, will present if you increase their salaries. It's a small price to pay, but it's a huge benefit in the long term, because you will eliminate the justification they have for all these donations and freebies. Because once again, somebody giving something to a politician generally wants something in return. And as we've seen with PPE contracts, well, that's actually much more expensive for the taxpayer. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.